Good morning. Namaste, Pradap. Ramo Singh. Today I have a topic on property rights of women in India and maintenance. First of all, we have to see Hindu law. What is the position of the daughters in the Hindu law? Daughters have equal right of inheritance as a sons to their father's property as per Hindu law. So, daughters also have a share in the mother's property. The Hindu Succession Amendment Act 2005, 39 of 2005 came into force from 9th September 2005. The amendment discriminatory provisions in the Hindu Succession Act 1956 and give the following right to the daughters. Some points being cleared in the Amendment Act. The daughter of a co-partner shall by birth become a co-partner in her own right in the same manner as the son. The daughter has the same right in the compulsory property as had, she has had, if she had been a son, like a son. The daughter shall be subject to the same liability. If you have right, so the liability will be also there. The daughter shall have subject to the same liability in in the said compulsory property as that of the son, and the daughter is allotted the same share as it allotted to a son. A married daughter has no right to shelter in her parents. A married daughter has no right to shelter in her parents' house or nor maintenance and charge for her being passed on to the married house. And a married daughter has a right of the residence if she is deserted, divorced, and widowed. Then, in that situation, the daughter has right to live with the parents, free to dispose of these by sale, gift, and will as she deems fit. Same right. What is the right of the wives? What is the right of the wives as a woman? A married woman has an exclusive right over the individual property, and unless she gives it to it in a part or wholly or anyone, and she anyone, and she manages or her assets, whether earned, inherited, gifted to her. इनहेरिटेंस से आया, गिफ्ट से आया है, और उसने whether she has earned by herself, entitled to maintenance, support, and shelter from her husband, entitled to maintenance, support, and shelter from her husband, and if her husband belongs to a joint family, then from the joint family, and upon partition of the joint family estate, whether her husband and his son, she is entitled to share equal to as any other. The death of her husband, she is entitled to an equal share of the portion together with her children and his mother as a woman. What is the right of the mother as a woman? She is entitled to maintenance from children who are not dependent. She is entitled to maintenance from children who are not dependent. She is also a class 1 here. She is class 1 here, and she can take maintenance from the children who are on their own foot. They are earning. A widowed mother has a right to take a share equal to the share of the son of a son if a partition of the joint family estate takes place. All property owned by her may be disposed by the sale, will, gift as she chooses. कर सकती है. They have the right. In case she dies intestate, her children inherit equally, they inherit equally and regardless of their sex. There is no discrimination as a sex, pale, male, female, or anyone else. Maintenance. Section 125 of the Criminal Procedure Code prescribed for maintenance of the wives, children, and parents. Wives, children, and parents. If any person having sufficient means neglect or refuses to maintain his wife, who is unable to maintain herself, the his legitimate and illegitimate minor child, legitimate illegitimate child के केस में भी his father mother unable to maintain himself or herself. Court in such cases may order such person to make a monthly allowances for maintenance to the wife, child, and parents, whoever may so. Wife, child, and parents. Order issued by the magistrate of the first class. Magistrate can also, during the pendency of the proceeding, order monthly allowance to the interim maintenance. Application for the monthly allowance for the interim maintenance and the expenses of proceedings shall, as far as possible, and 60 days from the date of the service of the service of the notice of the application. And wife includes a woman. What is the definition of the wife? Wife includes a woman who has divorced by or has obtained a divorce from her husband, or has not remarried. Her husband and has not remarried. Important judicial pronouncement. Maintenance must necessarily encompass a provision for residence. Maintenance is given so that the lady can live in a manner that she is accustomed. In a manner that she is accustomed. The concept of maintenance must therefore include provisions for food and clothing and like, and take a roof over the head. Whatever the position earlier she has, she must maintain. That's why the maintenance will be in that order. श्री राजेश चौधरी वर्सेस निर्मला चौधरी केस CMM 1385 2004 दिल्ली हाई कोर्ट ने फैसला दिया था. In this case, the person was seeking permission to ascertain the paternity of the female child. He wanted to ascertain the parent. DNA testing, which allegedly was not fathered by him. The issue whether an estranged wife claiming maintenance for herself, any interim maintenance, while the complex issue of the DNA testing on an allegation of the illegitimacy of the child awaits determine, held that blood grouping test is useful test to determine the question of the disputed paternity, and courts can rely it upon that particular and under the circumstances, and ultimately excludes a certain individual as a father of the child. And however, no person can be compelled to give sample of the किसी को फोर्स नहीं करेंगे, और अगर का हो रहा है तो जब रिजल्ट आएगा तो उसके रिजल्ट के हिसाब से करना है. हर will and no adverse inference can be drawn against him or her for his refusal. रिफ्यूजल कर रहा है, नहीं करवाना चाहता है, तो कुछ नहीं कर सकता. कोर्ट इन इंडिया कैन नॉट यूज ब्लड टेस्ट एंड wherever applications are made for such prayers in order to have probing inquiry, the prayer of the blood test cannot be entertained. The law presumes both that the marriage ceremony is valid and every person is legitimate. Marriages are filtration. Marriages are the filiation and parental age, a general presuming assumed against vice and immorality. The court must carefully examine as to what would be the consequence of it will have the effect of the branding a child as a bastard and the mother as an unchaste woman. The sustenance of the minor petitioner's wife is concerned, it cannot await the determination of the illegitimacy of and should be ordered in a manner payable. श्रीमती बीपी अचेला आनंद सिविल अपील नंबर 4250 of 2000 में, the Supreme Court in this case observed that the right of a woman to reside in the matrimonial home under personal law, a wife is in her husband, she is entitled to remain under his roof and protection. She is also entitled to separate residence if by reason his refusal to maintain her in his own place of the residence and the other just cause, she is compelled to live apart from him, and right partial of the wife's right to maintenance. For the purpose of the maintenance, the term wife includes the divorced wife. If the wife is divorced and you are not allowing it to live with your house, you are not giving maintenance, then if you are supposed to give another residence to live there. Bharat Heavy Plates and Vessels Limited, Air India, AIR 1985, Andhra Pradesh 2007. The husband was an employee in a company. He was allotted a company quarter in which he lived with his wife. The mm, the quarter having difference developed between the husband and the wife and leading to their estrangement, and finally the wife went to with the neglect to maintain her and her minor children. The husband left the company quarter and it was occupied only by the husband. Also wrote to the company terminating the lease, which was in his favor. The hovering prospect of the eviction and protection, seeking an injunction restraining the company from evicting the wife and her three minor children. High Court, the High Court before it, whereby the company was estranged by the evicting the wife and her minor children. The court looked into a consideration was meant to be used to the employee, and the husband was under the obligation to provide shelter to the wife and children. Company had both recognized the quarter to be matrimonial home where the wife too was residing. The amount of so in that quarter the wife has the right, and the court has given decision appropriately. The all content appearing on the in absence of the uniform civil code, personal laws are there. Personal laws are there. Uniform civil code, we have no uniform civil code. That's why there are the personal laws. Hindu laws should be in antiquity, and Hindu believe their laws to exist in revelation preserved in the Vedas and Shrutis and Smritis, and Dayabhaga in the Bengal, Dayabhaga in Mayuka in the Bombay, and the Nambodari in the Kerala, and Mitakshara in other parts of India, and Barkara schools are Mithila School and Raviraj School and Maharishtra School. If a man depart this life without a male issue, his wife, his daughter, his parents, and his brothers, sons, and his brothers, and others of the same gotra and kindred more remote people, a fellow student, all are the sequence order. Well, his wife, his daughters, his parents are the sequence order of the male issue. In default of the sons, grandsons, great in default of the sons, grandsons, great grandsons, and widows, the daughter succeeds to a life estate in her father's property. Grandsons, great grandsons, and widows. The daughter succeeds to a life estate in her father's property. Ancestor property inheritance वंशावली के हिसाब से एक्वायर्ड प्रॉपर्टी है, स्वार्जित है. एंसेस्टर प्रॉपर्टी 2000 पहले से मेल साइड में था, लेकिन अभी वो फीमेल साइड को भी ले लिया है. हिंदू सक्सेशन एक्ट अमेंडमेंट एक्ट 2005 हैज गिवन राइट टू द वुमेन्स daughters, granddaughters equal rights by birth compulsory rights has been given. Self acquired property, father have without wasiyat he cannot give and whatever the written in the will should be followed, and father have the right there. 2000 डॉटर को अधिकार मिला है कि डॉटर को अधिकार मिला है लड़कियों को कि फादर से मिलने वाली प्रॉपर्टी, हस्बैंड से मिली प्रॉपर्टी को महिला को जिसको कि हिंदू सक्सेशन एक्ट 1956 से 6 के बाद 2005 से पहले तो था, वो अभी चेंज हो गया है और चेंज हो गया है तो वो वंशानुगत इसके पास प्रॉपर्टी आ जाएगी, बच्चों पर चली जाती है। मेंटेनेंस का 125 का हमने पहले ही बता दिया। बिल नहीं बनाई है तो सबको मिलेगी, और बिल बना दिए हैं तो बिल वालों को मिलेगी जो प्रॉपर्टी अर्जित करी हुई है। दूसरी शादी के केस में उसके बच्चे का, परंतु दूसरी पत्नी को नहीं है, दूसरी पत्नी को नहीं है, बच्चों का है, बच्चों का है। वुमेन इन लॉ में शादी के बाद पति की संपत्ति पर अधिकार है। एंड सेल्फ एक्वायर्ड प्रॉपर्टी, नो राइट ऑफ द हस्बैंड एलिव, जो हस्बैंड एलिव है उसकी सेल्फ एक्वायर्ड प्रॉपर्टी में अधिकार नहीं है। खरीदने में पैसा लगाया है तो कोर्ट द्वारा उसे अधिकार मिल सकता है। सास ससुर के केस में महिला को कोई अधिकार नहीं है। सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने यह भी कहा कि शेयर्ड हाउस में रहने का अधिकार है, और सास ससुर की संपत्ति बंटवा नहीं सकती है। पिता की संपत्ति पर बेटी का अधिकार है। चल असल संपत्ति वसीयत और विरासत में मिली है उसमें एंड स्व अर्जित सेल्फ एक्वायर्ड प्रॉपर्टी में बिल के माध्यम से मिलेगा, नहीं वैसे अधिकार नहीं है। महिलाओं को 2005 के संशोधन से अधिकार मिला। बेटियों को बेटों के बराबर माना गया। सेल्फ एक्वायर्ड बिना वसीयत के मृत्यु हुई है तो महिलाओं को उसी प्रकार मिलेगा जैसे बेटों को मिलता है। निसंतान महिला पिता द्वारा, पिता की तरफ से की गई, महिला के पास जहाँ से आई है वहीं जाएगी। अगर वसीयत नहीं बनाया गया है तो क्लास ऑफ लीगल हेयर, ये केस थोड़ा सा टिपिकल है। अगर किसी भी महिला को उसके फादर की तरफ से कोई भी राइट आया है, उसके बाद उसकी मृत्यु के बाद कोई अगर अधिकारी नहीं है तो उसी अधिकार में चली जाएगी, नीचे चली जाएगी, जहाँ से आई थी वहीं चली जाएगी। विधवा बेटा बेटी दो। आशा है कि आप लोगों ने समझा होगा। समझे हैं तो लाइक करें, सब्सक्राइब करें, शेयर करें। थैंक यू वेरी मच।